petting my cat. What do you think about that? Handstands taught me about finding the tipping point. Handstands taught me that if we are to be the change we seek in this world, what we must do is turn our gaze onto that which we desire, instead of giving our power to that which would take it freely. It is time for us to understand that right now we are experiencing a play, and as it was foretold by those who came before us, the poets that knew it, we are all but actors and actresses in this orchestra that currently is being directed by a legally corrupt institution, corporation. And we, the people, are being called to take our power back. Not just to sing like the birds, though that helps, but for us to be willing to understand that we don't need everyone to get it. And there will not ever be an everyone getting everything always. It's impossible, and yet then that's when we remember that impossible, when Simply adding a dash, we get I'm possible. Because when we believe it, that is when we can actually achieve it. But first we have to conceive it, and so that is what we must do together. It is time for us to understand that in order to reach a tipping point in collective consciousness, in order for us to become the ones that were willing to take a stand, it is about changing the narrative that we give our power to. It is about unplugging from that which would take our power, that we freely give, until we say, no, I choose to live. I choose to live freely. I choose to live fully. And that means without fear. Without fear of what? Of what we're told to be fearful of? Of what we have been conditioned to believe would be the end of us? Well, what I know is that throughout history, the tribe has been used as a tool to keep the individual in line. And from my own experience of the treatment I have received from those who are related by blood, but that's about it. It is to say, we're in polarizing times, and when you're different, when you think differently, when you actually think for yourself, you're a threat to the ones that don't want to. You're a threat to the ones that are listening to the rules, the ones that want you to do that too, because that justifies their decision. And I say we can't afford to do that unless we want to allow the legally corrupt government, officials that are actors, performers, that have sold their soul and would have us do the same. Nope. It's possible to do that, but look where it's led us after a year. After many decades, in fact. It just was more subtle than that. Because this is their last stand. Julius is saying, it is time to let me in, Mum. Please. Get the door. I don't want to be out here anymore. I just want to go inside. Well, isn't that what we all want to do? No, it's harder. The journey inward is tough. It's taxing. And when we come to new levels of awareness, we enter into the spiral staircase of awareness. Yes, my love. We enter into the spiral staircase of awareness that has us seemingly in the same space, but in a totally different place. And sometimes when you know what you want, that bad that you're willing to fight for it and continue to speak up until we get what we want, that's when we can take a lesson from a cat, for they are the Zen masters, in fact. So, I hope this message reminds you to do what you feel is important. For you to understand the tipping point in collective consciousness requires us to be willing to say it's a long line behind us. The ancestors who came before us in order to help us be able to do what it takes for this moment in time. The vehicle passes right in line. A second, in fact. This one having an eagle, which is about vision. That is what we must do. We must dream a new dream together. We must stop giving our power to the ones that are freely taking it. And we must, in fact, find the strength inward. We have the strength inside. We've just lost trust. We have stopped speaking our mind when somebody doesn't listen. And in fact, that's how the institution makes us comply, make us feel like we're insignificant. My experience in the mental health system, when I got trapped for 2.5 weeks because I didn't know my rights and therefore didn't have any, that experience when I was told 3 times when asking for my lip balm, very simple. I was told, I'm doing something more important than your request. I'll get to it if I have a chance. That was an effort to dehumanize, to make me feel insignificant, and it didn't work because I saw right through it. Because I've done enough training, I've had enough training and experience to know better, but most don't. And so that's why I stand as I do in this moment, sitting, but in fact still standing for you, for myself, and for the future generations that will come from us. That wall, stand behind us, is white. For the light is already won. We are the ones that must simply reignite that spark within our own hearts in order to be able to stand and do what it takes. And it will be uncomfortable, and it will cost a lot. It may even cost our lives. And after we take a breath and remember that sobering truth, then we have to ask, what is life, if not one to be lived fully? Is it worth living in fear? Only you can decide from here. You choose which wolf you will feed, whether it be the one that uplifts and inspires and creates the new generation that will be able to stand tall this way, or whether instead we will play into the plan, the agendas. Those shall remain nameless from me, from here on out, until it's necessary, until there is cause for putting forward evidence to decision makers, of which we actually are decision makers. It's just we have to choose what we're going to feed within our own selves, because we can create a tipping point effect. If we are willing, we can do it. We just simply must trust ourselves and strengthen ourselves, do things that challenge us. I know that that's how the diamond is formed. So I hope you will choose to be the diamond that you are becoming through this process with me. Toodaloo.